This Week in Review. Tonight's stories include: I had an interview with hospital board member Mr. Doug Kendall. The Burgeo Drama Club, the St. John Players, finished first at the Regional Drama Festival. The Public Library held a Bookscoff on Wednesday, and more, so please stay tuned.
For almost a century, there's been a group of people working hard for Canada, fighting for this country. Now they are uniting to keep Canada together. The Royal Canadian Legion supports Canadian unity.
I had an interview with hospital board member Mr. Doug Kendall this past week to find out if there was any truth to the rumors that have been circulating concerning the new hospital. Mr. Kendall, I understand you recently attended a meeting of the Western Memorial Regional Hospital Board.
Yes, David. We had a meeting of the board on Tuesday night. I guess as most people know that I represent Burgeo on that board. I'm a member of that board, and we had a meeting on Tuesday night.
Okay, can you give us an update now with regards to the new hospital?
Yes, the matter of the new hospital was discussed. We looked at what funding we had in place right now to open that facility. And based on the present funding that we have, there's an additional $485,000 allocated in this budget for the opening of new bids in that facility. That's the funding that we have received to date. And based on this funding, in order to open the hospital, the tentative opening date as we see it with the funding in place would be December the 1st of this year. And by opening I mean fully open, fully staffed, and everyone back to work.
Okay, what if the hospital is ready for opening before December?
It is my understanding, and I feel that it will be ready for opening probably around the 1st of October. And it is my understanding, and I have every reason to believe that the funding is in place. As you know, Mr. Gilbert announced funding recently, and I had the occasion to talk with Mr. Winston Baker last night, and he assured me that it was their intention to have the funding in place and to have the hospital open and fully staffed by the 1st of October. Now, I don't think anyone really knows when it's going to be ready for opening, but we're looking at, we think it should be ready by the 1st of October. It may be a little later. But I have every reason to believe that the funding will be there and will be in place, and the hospital will be open whenever it's ready. The hospital will be open and fully staffed.
Okay, so when you say fully open, do you mean the chronic care section as well?
I mean the chronic care section, the acute care section, and the general outpatient section to be fully open. There have been rumors around town as it relates that the hospital is going to open as just a clinic and operate as the old hospital is presently operating right now. Well, I want to dispel any of those rumors because I have been attending the board meetings. I know it was brought up at 2 or 3 meetings ago, and I advised the board, the rest of the board at that time, that the people of Burgeo are not willing and neither will we accept that hospital to be open as just a clinic. We have been now 2 years. I guess we've been very patient people, having very serious medical problems, in my opinion, as it relates to just having a clinic here in Burgeo. The need is there for that hospital. It was determined that it was needed. So therefore, I went to the board and I said, look, there's no way that we can open that as a clinic, and the board agreed with it totally. So therefore, I mean, any indication that that's going to open as just a clinic, I mean, it's just rumor as far as I'm concerned.
So when will the construction of the actual building be completed?
David, it's very difficult for me to answer that. I don't really know because that is, you know, the contractor Originally, when it started, it was scheduled to open in the fall of this year. And of course, the fall runs anytime from September to December, so, I mean, they've got that time frame. It's my understanding there's quite a bit of work to be done on the building yet. Equipment has got to go into building, so maybe you're looking at, you know, sometime September and October before we would even have an idea when it would be ready for opening. But what I want to say to the people of Burgeo is that me as a board member, we're keeping on the situation, and when the hospital is ready for opening, I'm sure that the funding is going to be there in place and that it will be open.
Okay, first when the building got under construction, there was some talk of the name for the new healthcare facility. Has a name been approved yet for the building?
David, the town, matter of fact, did this up. We wrote the Department of Health and asked that we're the Calders, we're doctors in Burgeo for a fair length of time, that we thought it would be just to call it the Calder Healthcare Center. There have been letters written to the department. The board had recommended to the department that it be called this. I think it's only a formality of going through cabinet. It hasn't been officially stated that it will be called that, but I think when the time comes that the building will be called the Calder Healthcare Center.
Okay, Mr. Kendall, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not really, David. I just wanted to bring the people up to date as we see it as a board, and just to explain again, the present funding, we've got enough funding in place now that you know, we could open the hospital the 1st of December. There's going to be more funding needed to open it in October, if you want to get it open in October. And Mr. Gilbert, and I also talked with Winston Baker, have assured me that if that building is ready for opening in October, the funds will be in place and the building will be open, and that's all I can say.
Okay, Mr. Kendall, we'd like to thank you for taking time to come in and speak with us.
Yes, well, David, probably before we close out, there was also some rumor around town as to the fact that, well, what's the point of opening the building if there's no patients to go into it? We conducted a survey, the hospital, the local administrative staff here at Burgeo and the nurses. We done a survey to determine how many people would be going in that, well, long care unit, if you want to look at it that way. And we came up with a total of 26 names, potential people that if that hospital was to open today, would go into that hospital. So it's not, you know, some people are saying, well, if we got no patients, they're not going to open. But that's not the case. Between Grey River, Burgeo, Ramya, and we've also got patients that's in Portabass, there's some in Stephenville, those areas that would be coming back to Burgeo and fill the bids in Burgeo, and that would free up bids in their region because they've got a long list to go in the hospital also. But in closing, we've got another meeting at a board scheduled for May the 25th, I believe it is. There's another meeting scheduled. We have a meeting every month. We have written to the Department of Health explaining our financial situation as a board, that we just got enough finances now for December, and should the hospital be ready for opening in September or October, additional funding is going to be needed. So that's gone to the department. We've wrote the Department of Health. We've given our figures what would be needed to open it in October. Mr. Gilbert has indicated, as I said before, that that funding is there. And Mr. Winston Baker phoned me last night, and he also indicated to me that the funding is there. So I have every reason to believe that our hospital will be open as a full-fledged hospital whenever the time comes for the opening, which I feel is going to be sometime last part of September, early October.
Okay, Mr. Kendall, thanks for speaking with us.
Okay, David, thank you.
On Wednesday, a Bookscoff was held at the public library here in Burgeo.
Down the aisle, up the aisle, down the aisle, up the aisle, down the aisle. Tara said, sometimes my dad doesn't buy good food. He gets bread, eggs, milk, cheese, spinach. That's good. Nothing any good. Spinach. She said, this is no good. He doesn't buy ice cream, cookies, chocolate bars, or ginger ale.
Is that good for us?
No, but she thinks that bread and milk and cheese are bad foods, and ice cream and cookies and chocolate bars are good foods. That's why she's taking all the things off the shelf, because this is what she wants, is the cookies and the chips. Mom, that's candies. That's candies, okay, candies. So Tara was very quietly snuck away from her father and got a cart of her own. She pushed it over to the ice cream. Then she put in 100 boxes of ice cream into her cart. She's got 100 boxes of ice cream in her cart.
Can she eat all that? Do you think we could eat all that? I could. We want to see. I could eat all that. Take her tummy. Yes, I think we had a big tummy.
Yeah, you'd get a big tummy, wouldn't you? Tara pushed the cart up behind her father and said, Daddy, look. Her father turned around and yelled, Yikes! Yes. Wouldn't your mom turn around and say yikes if she saw you coming with a cart with 100 tubs of ice cream in it?
A number of different classes from A.J. Matthews School visited the library on Wednesday. Here we have the preschool students. Most students read storybooks or, as an adult, read stories to them. Here, one of the library board members, Miss Elsie Rose, is reading a story to a group of students. As well, the students also sang songs.
What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. Thumbs together, your thumbs together. I'm singing in the rain, just singing in the rain. What a glorious feeling, I'm happy again. Okay.
As well, children dressed in their pajamas went to the library on Wednesday night from 6:30 to 7:30 for more stories and fun. Please stay tuned for more of This Week in Review, coming up in just a moment.
Okay, people, your assignment today is very simple. Make this earth as beautiful as possible. Any questions? Get started. Does anyone know where Lisa is?
Yeah, I do.
Do a good turn for the earth. A community service thought from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
We took our camera to the high school gymnasium on Tuesday for the presentation of awards won recently at the Regional Drama Festival held in Port aux Basques.
Anyway, I'd like to proceed now with the awards to these students. First of all, the awards for outstanding performance. You can see here the certificates. To Clinton Barter and Wayne Garter for a very convincing piece of mind in the party scene of Juvie. To Paul Hare for capable handling of a difficult job in light and sound for Juvie. for stage presence and a convincing portrayal of Skip in Judy. To Frances Young for her strong performance as Jean in Judy. To Anne Batcher for her convincing portrayal of Pinky. And, of course, to all the inmates of Julie for their handling of the ensemble with convincing portrayals. And Angie, as the youngest member of our troupe, picked it up on stage, and I'll ask Angie to come forward again to pick it up on behalf of the school. Honorary mentions were also given to Kelly for her portrayal of Leah. Stand up, Kelly. Chevelle for her portrayal of Carrie. To Angie for her portrayal of Jane Doe. To Joni for her portrayal of Sunny. And to Peggy for her portrayal of Philly. As well, we have participation certificates from the school board. There's another one for Wayne for his versatility in portraying so convincingly, and she fell in love with Wayne. Both new and old age, as Sean and the old man in Julie. So, this is the certificate of participation given to all of the members. We'll just name them out quickly. Frances Young. Tony Rose. Clinton Barber. Chevelle Reed. Jill Porter. Miss Wright. Natasha Reed, Jill Way, Denise Spencer, Penny McDonald, Kelly McDonald, Tracy Sims, Wayne Barker, on behalf of the Drama Club and ask him to put it in a very prominent position where everybody comes in and see it, and we'll also have lights shining from it.
The council has declared next week as cleanup week here in the town of Burgeo. As part of cleanup week, all residents and homeowners in the community are encouraged to get out and clean up around their property. Also, once cleanup week is over, residents are encouraged not to throw their garbage along the sides of the road, but rather keep it in their position until they come to a garbage can. It's up to us to keep our community clean. We don't have any new playbacks for this week. However, we have had requests to have certain playbacks shown again. So the playbill for this week include: tune in on Tuesday at 7 p.m. for the Sharecroppers. Tune in on Wednesday night following TV Bingo for a trip on the Cape Morro. And of course, tune in on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. for story time. And of course, tune in next Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. for This Week in Review, followed by The Bandwagon. Please stay tuned now for another episode of Driftwood and Friends. On behalf of BBS and all the BBS volunteers, I'm Dave Cooper, wishing you a great week. Good night.